All right, welcome pen pals. It's your buddy Tom with Goldspot Pens, and we are here to have another pen unboxing. Today's broadcast, we have a couple of pens that I was a little nervous about wanting to unbox because honestly, I've already spent my pen budget for the year on a personal pen of mine, and I'm a little tempted by seeing the photographs and seeing that these pens came into stock just actually yesterday. So this is a very fresh off the boat sort of unboxing. As you can tell from the logo, it is a Pilot pen. I have a couple of Pilot pens here. I also have a little mini bottle of Sailor Four Seasons ink, and this is Yamadori, and we'll get to that in just a little bit as well. The pen in question is, and we take a look at this box sleeve here, we can see the identity of it, is the Pilot Custom 74. And this is in teal and Merlot, or as they say on here, Burgundy. So I say that with a little bit of tongue-in-cheek because some people tend to be rather sticklers about pronunciation, and I like to thumb my nose at them every once in a while. But if you've seen the photos of these pens before, you've already kind of gotten a taste for what these will look like, and you've already said to yourself, oh, I need that Merlot fountain pen. But don't freak out if you do get the pen and it says Burgundy on here because they say Burgundy. But I'll show you, it's the same thing. So this rather, indiscriminate, like nondescript pen box, it's got like a little bit of a ribbon pattern going on there. We slide it off, and we have the Pilot pen sarcophagus, as I would like to say. It's like a clamshell box, but you have a clear plastic window that lets you take a look at the pen sitting in its little bed there. It's held in with an elastic loop, and you can see it's got the little sticker that's signature to many of the Pilot pens that you would see. It indicates the nib size on there, and we have the little ribbon we'll pull on to remove this plastic base. And you see the ink cartridge. It's a Pilot Namiki proprietary ink cartridge. And you would get your care and use guide hiding underneath that platform there. This gives you the warranty information for your new Pilot fountain pen, along with the contact information, and also a care and use guide to help you fill it and maintain it. Always very helpful. So I like to keep the box just in case you have that one little question that you're not so sure about when it comes to routine maintenance and filling of your fountain pen. Well, let's just pop this all back in here. So we'll put this all back in. It's kind of like a plastic tray, so it kind of buckles when you don't want to put it in all the way there. There you go. So we'll take out the pen in question, and we'll also take this guy out too here, the Merlot, or Merlot, or Burgundy, or whatever you'd like to call it. So you have the teal and the Merlot / Burgundy. This pen, the Custom 74, is considered to be a translucent demonstrator fountain pen. Just showing you through the light here. It's a pen that's based on its visibility, so it really takes advantage of this demonstrator profile because of the filling system involved. And it's not a piston filling system, it's not internal, it does rely on a converter, but the converter in question is the Con 70 converter, which is by far a much more fun and useful converter than its brethren, the Con 40 or even the Con 20. Why? Is because it can be operated single-handedly with this pump action, so it acts a lot like a vacuumatic sort of filling system where you pump it to get ink to come up into the chamber here, and it fills completely, and it fills actually with a lot of ink at about approximately 1¼ milliliters on a full fill, which compared that to a Con 40, which maybe gets you a drop or two at the best, and frustrates Even me, being that I fill fountain pens regularly, and it would still frustrate me to use the Con 40 converter. But the Con 70 is awesome. And you can see the ink level because you have a translucent, colorful body there. So these are two new colors for 2019. Like I just said in the opening, they just arrived. And they look pretty striking, very handsome. You know, a little bit of his and hers. You can see more women going for the Merlot, see more guys going for the teal. I myself have a particular affinity towards teals and blues, so this definitely was right up my alley, and this was what I was afraid of when I would open it up, that I would start to really get a liking to this color and this particular type of pen. So let's take a look at the details. It's got a sort of smoky translucency, so it's not like a clear. It's got a little bit of a clearness to it, but it's not a very like transparent sort of demonstrator, which has just a slight hint of color. You do get a fair amount of saturation of color in the resin of the barrel. The end finials are actually smoky, translucent, like kind of like a black plastic. Same thing with the top here. It differs from the rest of the barrel and the cap, and same thing with the section as well. So the section has the same smoky, sort of somewhat black translucent material. The trims, you have your silver, which looks pretty striking on this. So you have a silver cap band, and I'll bring that up here. Take a look at here. It says Custom 74, little star. Pilot, made in Japan. And all the internals, as far as like the little highlights and designs, kind of come out through that translucency. You can even see in the very top cap there, the top of the finial, looks pretty cool. Granted, maybe not as cool as, let's say, the Platinum 3776 may look, but hey, that's a matter of preference, and it still looks pretty cool to see through all the different parts of this pen, and it does look pretty nice with paired with the. It just gives it a little bit of a different flavor, being able to see it with the two ends being differently colored than the rest of the barrel. And as far as the nib is concerned, we have a rhodium finished. I'm just trying to get the focus going here. Rhodium finished 14 karat gold nib. This is Pilot. 14K 585, and this is the medium point. You have your feed is right here too. The profile is mostly cylindrical. As you can see, it kind of has more of, it does have a little bit of a taper towards the barrel end, a little bit of a taper, a little bit of a flare out kind of going here on the cap, but for most part has like a cylindrical sort of feel. It's a little bit of a cigar shape, but not quite. Doesn't have enough of the taper, I feel, on the ends to kind of justify that profile. The ends, like we said here before, they're rounded, which kind of has like a nice sort of soft appeal around the entire profile of the pen. This nib, I'll just kind of go back over it again, is I'm trying to focus, it's a number 5 in terms of Pilot's number 5 nibs. So it could be probably then swapped with any of the other pens that feature this particular size of nib. So one of the neat features about this, which I did cover quickly, and I filled this pen up already, is the pump action of the converter. And you can see it's completely filled here. I just got maybe like a very little bit of bubbles that kind of cleared out now, but it filled up quite nicely, and just one-handed action, just pumping it over and over in the bottle of ink, and it was just such a pleasure to fill it up in comparison to, let's say, a Vanishing Point with that Con 40 converter. So definitely an improvement there. And just to kind of go over some stats, I'm going to tell you about the different you know, other aspects of this pen as far as the dimensions are concerned. So we have the length close is 5.6 inches or 143 millimeters. Then you have the pen with the cap off. That is 4.9 inches or 125 millimeters. Then you have the cap posted, which is 6.1 inches or 155 milliliters. The barrel diameter comes in at about a half an inch, which is a fairly average size maximum diameter for a barrel. And you have the section diameter is 0.4 inches, so it kind of does barely ever so slightly tapers at about 10 millimeters in diameter at that grip. The weight is zero point 0.8 ounces or 22 grams, which is a fairly lightweight considering, it's an acrylic, I'm sorry, not acrylic, it's a resin pen, not minimal sorts of metal furniture on this guy. So definitely one that would qualify for a nice feel, especially after a long writing session. It's not going to cramp your hand style, or it's not going to feel too back-weighted of a pen when you have the cap posted on the back. So speaking of writing, let's do a writing sample. So let's clear out this other stuff here, and we'll do a writing sample. And I won't be able to really read, if you guys are making any comments or snickering in the back there, I won't be able to really read it, but I will look at it later, and you will all be punished. So you have this inked up with Sailor. This is the newer bottle, the 20 ml bottle of the Yamadori. Fortunately, we don't have any more of the 50 mls anymore. That was pretty much the first color that sold out once they were discontinuing the 50s and going to the 20s. So I figured it was a better fit for this than, let's say, throwing like Konpeki or something like that in there. This is a very nice teal pen, so and Yamadori is a beautiful teal ink, so there you go. Let's do a little bit of writing sample. Let's do the Pilot Custom 74, and this is in the teal. This is a medium point. $14K nib. I'm just gonna move this over just a slight bit. Sorry for that. Just trying to get you a little bit better of an angle with the lighting and stuff like that. So let me just bring this down. Sorry. So I'll do a little quick brown fox here. So overall, I just want to give you a little bit of my commentary that I wrote down prior to getting this live video started here about the writing in general. The nib itself, it's the flow is a little bit, I feel like, on the drier side, but that could also be due to this saturation of the Yamadori ink, which is a little bit on the higher side too. But it does have a nice smooth flow. Feeling no scratchiness or any sort of toothiness about this nib. Writes very nicely. keeps up, even with some quicker handwriting. So you got that there. Then it just pushes with just a very little tiny bit of line variation. So I press ever so slightly. You know, I do get a little bit, but just a hint. And I really wouldn't push this that much further. Also, the pen itself just feels extremely balanced with that cap posted on the back end. I mean, I feel like you could go both ways. You could write with it with the cap unposted, and it still would write pretty nicely. But I think for most people, it's going to feel more at home posting this guy on the back. And really, I mean, if I'm going to nitpick, which I usually do, is, you know, the section's a little bit undersized. And I know some people might have an issue with this who like larger sections or ones that are a little bit more girthy in diameter or just don't, you know, just kind of give you a little bit more to hold on to. It doesn't flare out much. It does flare out just a very little bit at that end to give your fingers purchase, but not that much at all. And it just feels like my fingers are just slightly, you know, disagreeing with me, saying that, hey, you know, this is like, this feels a little too close for comfort. But that could totally, that's a very personal preference sort of thing. That's something that you're going to have to feel when you actually put this in your hands and give it a shot. But overall, I mean, I could see writing with this for a very long time and not feeling any sort of hand fatigue because it's lightweight, the cap posts on quite nicely, and doesn't add any sort of back-weighted feeling to the pen as you're writing with it. I mean, the nib itself is just, it's a pleasure to write with. It's extremely smooth, nice and good flow and everything. And you have a lot of ink capacity here with the Con 70 converter, so you could write with this for a pretty long time overall. So, take the other pen out too. So that is our look at the Pilot Custom 74 in the Merlot and the Teal. Now available at goldspot.com in all nib sizes, which range from the extra fine, fine, medium, and broad size. Medium of which is the one that we used for this demonstration here. They do come with the converter. The Con 70 converter is included, as well as the ink cartridge. And the MSRP price for the Custom 74 is $200, but we do have it on sale at the street price of $170 at goldspot.com. And like I said, just came in this week, so very awesome to have these on hand and be able to share these with you here today. And I appreciate everybody tuning in. If you have any questions about it, just feel free to throw them in the comments below and let us know if there's any pens that you'd like to see unboxed and featured here live. And as always, stay inky, my friends. Have a great day.